Sometimes I just be losing my mind. Sometimes I just be lying to be lying. Sometimes I wish I could quit my 9 to 5 and make music from 9 to 9 and have a hell of a time. Growing up in the
Welcome back to Some Shit to Think About, episode number 7 with your host, Anthony Beasty, Barron. Very excited to have you guys here. Got a great show in store for you all. But first, before we get into it, let me go through some announcements. So, Unlocking the God Within You is out and available on beastybarron.com. Feel free to go to that site, give it a look. And definitely tap into Unlocking the God Within You. All the reviews I've gotten from it so far have been pretty good, and been talking about how it's just a life-changing book and something that can add a lot of value to you. So definitely tap in with that. And we have some exciting news. We're gonna be adding another host here on Some Shit to Think About. Gonna be changing the format up a little bit. Very excited to bring on a very very special friend of mine. I'll let it be a little bit of a surprise once he comes on here, and we can kind of get things going from there. But I think it'll be a good change of pace, a good way to add a different perspective to a lot of the different topics we're talking about, and just a good way to just hear a different voice and hear a different side of view. So going to be changing the format up a little bit. Very excited about that. And this episode is also sponsored by Goldwater, the elixir of life. Make sure you go tap in. I'll leave the link in the description as well if you want to increase the electrical conductivity within your mind and your body and just be a little bit more sharp and a little bit more on your A game. Go tap in with the good folks over there at Goldwater. As for today, what we're going to be talking about is just the concept of unlocking the God within you. Just unlocking the God within you, and just everything that the book is about, and just kind of why I wrote it, and what I feel like you can get out of it, and what it has in store without giving away the whole book. So unlocking the God within you is a concept that I feel like is applicable to everyone in this life, because I personally feel like we are all gods here. Every single individual on this earth is a god and has godly abilities. And I say this because obviously, depending on we all have different religious beliefs, religious backgrounds. You believe what you believe in. You might not believe in anything, but there is something or someone that created all of this, that created the universe and everything that inhibits it. And for us to be here, that means we are a product of that creator. So if you make anything in life, you have a piece of you within it. You can't make a cake without putting some of your love into it. You can't make a human without putting some of your DNA within it. So I feel like we have a lot of our creator within us. Therefore, that makes us, one of the same. So I feel like we're all gods, and we all have that godly power, godly ability. And I really wrote it because I want people to tap in with that power, with those abilities, because a lot of people think that they are a lot less powerful than they are, and that kind of leads to people getting trapped in the illusion and all that other stuff. So that's kind of why I wrote it. I wanted to help out really anyone that knows that they were special, that they have godly powers, that they have something about them that's a little different. That's for the people that always kind of knew that they didn't necessarily like to go along with the crowd, and that they were destined for something much greater. That's the reason why I wrote the book. And even if you might not feel like that, I feel like after reading it, you might be able to start feeling that and start seeing that, and start tapping into that godly power within. So that's kind of why I wrote it. You can kind of see it in the beginning of the book. I kind of talk about just helping one person in the world tap into that divine power that we all bestow. And I feel like to tap into your godly powers, you kind of have to for one, you have to be able to see the illusion. And this is something that we talk about a lot here on Shit to Think About, just being able to see the BS, the simulation, the unwritten set of rules that everybody kind of has to, I shouldn't say have to, but everyone chooses to conform with and go along with, just to please everyone and not deviate from the scheme, man. So I feel like once you kind of see the illusion and you're kind of aware of what it is, you'll be able to just you'll be able to play it to your advantage, so to speak. You'll be able to realize how you can, coexist with it, but not necessarily conform to it. You know what I mean? And I won't get too in depth into the illusion because I already, spent 2 episodes talking about it on this podcast already. But the illusion is the matrix. It's the it's the BS that we all see in everyday life. The reason why people want to act like everyone else, basically. So I feel like when you kind of see that and you can kind of understand what that is and what it looks like, you won't be able to not see it. You won't be able to kind of deviate away from it. It's kind of like in the Matrix, red pill, blue pill. If you take the, I want to say red pill, I don't even remember, to be honest with you, but I think it was red pill. If you take that one, you won't be able to unsee, what you see. So that's kind of what the illusion is, and I feel like the first step of unlocking the godly powers within you, kind of seeing that everything around you is, I wouldn't necessarily say a trap, but it's definitely a very limiting environment, a limiting construct that we all have kind of agreed to be a part of. So once you have realized that, you can kind of deviate away from it, and you can really start using the power of your mind. And I feel like the power of your mind is something that we, as you humans, overlook far too much for my liking. Just because I don't think we realize that we have a supercomputer up here, and that no two brains are exactly the same. Yes, obviously they're all constructed the same. You got your, cerebral cortex, you got your prefrontal lobe, and all that stuff. Yeah, but the inner workings of it all, are completely different from human being to human being, and that's what makes us all special. So I feel like once we really start to realize the power of our mind, we can start to tap in with those godly powers within, especially when we just take control of our subconscious, and start being more aware of what we're doing subconsciously, as well as just what we're consuming, 24/7, because that stuff lives in your subconscious. And if you don't know, your subconscious is the the non-conscious part of your brain, but it's just a place in your brain where information, thoughts, and beliefs are stored, and that translate into you having habits, basically having actions that you commit without thinking about. So everybody has habits, everybody has subconscious beliefs, and the crazy thing about the subconscious mind is that it doesn't really know the difference between reality and non-reality. So a lot of times, a lot of beliefs that you might have in your mind could not even come from you. They can come from your parents or your family dynamic or your teachers or whoever it may be, people that might have at some point in time in life instilled something in you, and you just subconsciously just believed it, therefore you started acting on it. So and realizing the power of your mind, and more specifically realizing the power of your subconscious, I like to talk about in the book taking a step back and being able to be aware of everything that's going on in your head, because we often have, we're on our phones 24/7, so we're always consuming, and we don't necessarily think that, just because we were watching rap videos all day, or we're watching whatever, we're scrolling on, Instagram, TikTok all day, that stuff doesn't kind of add up, because it definitely stays, in the back of your mind. And, we have thousands of thoughts on a daily basis, but we don't necessarily process each and every single one of them. So I feel like being able to kind of take a step back and process everything that's going on in your mind is very a powerful tool for you to start tapping into those godly powers within you. Because once you can kind of take a step back and assess everything going on in your mind, you'll be able to filter things out and pay more attention to the things that are more conductive of what you feel like you're supposed to be doing, or that that things that add up to who you want to be and where you want to go. So I definitely talk about a couple practices for taking a step back. One being mindful meditation, and just being able to not necessarily, you don't have to go, sit on top of a mountain, or go do anything crazy, but you can definitely just sit down and shut up for 20 minutes, and stay off your phone, and you'll be forced to assess everything going on in your mind. 'Cause after the first 5 minutes, you might think it's pointless or whatever, but you're gonna be thinking thoughts, right? You're gonna be thinking all types of crazy different things, right? And the whole point of the mindful meditation isn't to go down each rabbit hole that you do, you know what I'm saying, start thinking about things of, but more so to assess everything that's popping up. You know, like, oh, okay, I'm thinking about this person, you know, they popped up in my mind. Oh, okay, I'm thinking about what I have to do for work. Okay, you know what I'm saying, this popped up. Just being able to take account of just literally the thoughts in your head. And I feel like the more consistently you do this, the more, like I said, one, aware of everything going on in your mind you'll be, and two, the more you'll start to see in real life where these different thoughts and beliefs are kind of coming from. So you can either add to it or take away from it. You know what I mean? You can start realizing like, oh, okay, I always thought this because I'm seeing it all the time on my phone. I'm seeing I follow this person that always does this. This is why I'm always doing this. You know what I mean? Let me unfollow this person, or you know what I mean, or let me keep following them if it's something, you know what I'm saying, that adds benefits to your life or whatnot. But I feel like as well as being able to take account for all the things that are going on in your head by mindfully meditating, you're also build mental strength and mental discipline within yourself and within your mind by being able to take, 20-30 minutes out of your day to just sit and, you know what I'm saying, be silent and be one with not only yourself but one with the universe, one with life outside of you, you know what I'm saying, kind of going around, because our attention spans today are crazy. You know what I mean? Everyone swears that they have ADHD, no one can focus, but it's because, we're constantly, you know what I mean, on our phone and doing things that, always just getting stimulated, you know what I mean, from as many different avenues as possible. So if you can practice a disciplined routine of just, you know what I'm saying, like I said, just sitting down and being quiet and assessing your thoughts, I feel like it just makes you stronger in the long end, because it'll help increase your focus. It'll help increase just your mental clarity, so you won't be as fuzzy or as cloudy as up top, and you can really harness those godly powers within you and use your mind for the many great things that it's capable of being used for. So definitely, kind of start with, just being aware of your mind and everything in it, and how you can use that to tap into, those godly powers within you. But then after that, once you kind of realize, okay, that you're tapped in, you have the mental discipline, you have the mental clarity, you're aware of, what's coming in and what's coming out, and you're aware of your thoughts and your beliefs and whatnot. Now it's like, who are you? You know what I mean? Like who are you outside of, whatever your title or whatever your, role in life is, right? Because, a lot of times, I've definitely spoke about this on the podcast as well, but a lot of times we just feel like, we're just the lawyer or the tax attorney or the accountant, you know what I mean? Or whatever profession you might take up, but in reality, you're much more than that. And I feel like we get out of touch with that, and that kind of makes us disassociate with those godly powers within us, because we're not seeing ourselves as gods or as an entity or a divine being. We're seeing ourselves as just the sales clerk or sales associate, or whatever it may be. And there's no, like I said, I'll never will hate or diss on anyone who has a job or anyone who is very proud of their job, because that's great. You should definitely be proud of what you do, but you should also be aware of that you're much more than that, and what you were put here to do is much greater than whatever job it may be. Even if you're getting lots and lots of money for it, and it might make you happy and whatnot, I'm very sure that there will be other things in this world that'll be much more fulfilling, much more purposeful. So I talk about who are you in the aspect of that, who are you as a human being, as a core. And that's something, everything like that I wrote this book, like I said, to kind of help someone out. But I heard this famous quote, I can't think of where it's from, but they say you write about things that you need to teach yourself. So everything in this book is stuff that I need for myself, you know what I mean? So, I had to, take awareness of, the power of my mind, and like I said, and start practicing mindful meditation and whatnot, and being aware of, my subconscious thoughts and beliefs. And that kind of, forced me to unfollow a lot of different people on social media, mute a lot of different things and words or whatnot, and just take responsibility for what I'm allowing to go on up top, and asking myself like who I am, as an individual, It's a tough question. I try and do that every single day because that kind of determines, what I'm saying, who I am and, just what I'm doing. So for me, when I ask myself, what I'm saying, who am I feel like, I'm a divine being, what I'm saying? I feel like I'm a God that was put here to assist and help people have as good of an experience as possible, just because that's what brings me the most joy, and that's what I've always felt like I've naturally done. You know what I mean? And I see myself doing that right now through the different mediums of content I'm creating to get people to think about, the bigger picture, to get people thinking about, just living life as their most authentic self and being fulfilled and being just true to you. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm, like I said, just the divine being that was put here to enjoy their time, but help as many others enjoy their time as possible. And I only came to that point by taking time aside to meditate on it, to really think about it, and to really just assess, kind of my whole path of life and what I've just naturally been good at. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times when you're trying to figure out who you are and what your purpose is, you have to just see, just like I feel like you always know, you know what I mean? You have all the answers to your life. You just have to look inward and, really figure it out and just be honest and humble enough to, point out, where things, where you might have led things to go wrong or you might have led things to go well. So for me, it was just just a realization of just kind of, obviously who I am, but like where I've been and what I've done. So the next chapter after that is talking about just like where you come from, because a lot of times where you come from can kind of help you put into perspective who you are. And I know not everyone has the best relationship with their families and whatnot, and I understand that, and to each their own, but I do think it is imperative that you figure out where you come from and your lineage, just because it'll allow you to learn different traits and characteristics about who you are, because a lot of things are passed down to us generation to generation, and it will be you'll only be helping yourself to know about any, like I said, any characteristics, qualities, or, sometimes some people, pass down like diseases and whatnot, but anything that is passed down generationally, like it would be nothing but smart for you to be aware of that, so you can, use that to your advantage and, be able to, I wouldn't say finesse, but to be able to move through life accordingly, you know what I mean, and use those godly abilities within you. So definitely figure out where you come from. For me, this wasn't really too hard, just because I've always been kind of tapped in with my family and kind of known the family history. I couldn't tell you now exactly where we come from in terms of like geographically, you know what I mean, way back. I probably couldn't tell you all that, but I can kind of tell you how I came about and just, like the family characteristics, family traits and whatnot. And I think I've mentioned this as well, but just, something I learned about my family is just that, addictive personalities, kind of run in the family. So I've been able to use that information to my advantage to, get, to make sure I'm not really getting addicted to people or things. But if I do, find myself in an addicted, way, I'm trying to make sure I'm addicted to good things, what I'm saying, like working out, eating fruit, and making money, or, what I mean, just these things that will help me out down the line. So figuring out where you come from, and then loving who you are. I feel like that's something that's very overlooked right now. Just being able to accept who you are and love who you are, and love who you are unapologetically. It's very, everyone, with social media has and the illusion, has a certain stigma of, who you are, what you should look like, what you should be in this life. And that's, that's BS, man. I feel like when you're really tapped into your godly powers and you're really tapped into who you are, where you come from, and the power of your mind, I feel like you can love yourself, unconditionally, because you realize that you're one of 8 billion in the world, and that, no one has the powers that you have, what I mean? So you can be able to look in the mirror and see that and recognize that that there's no one on this earth like you, and there never will be. And so, like, for just off that fact alone, you should have major love for yourself and major love for just everything you have going on and where you could be and what you can do. So loving yourself is a major, bless you, got my boy Rocco on set with us. But Loving yourself is a major key into unlocking the godly powers within you, because how are you gonna be able to use your godly powers if you don't love them? You know what I mean? If you look at a superhero, it's gonna be hard for them to use their superpowers if they don't know who they are and love who they are, you know what I'm saying, for that. You know what I mean? A lot of times people's superpowers are misdiagnosed and labeled as disorders and whatnot in life, and people, feel very insecure about those things, when in fact, whatever quote unquote disorder you may have, that could be your very superpower. That could be your very own, godly power that you were born to have and to use to your advantage. But we kind of have the wrong mindset about it. So, and loving who you are and everything about yourself is another major key on, just unlocking those godly powers within you, because you got to be able to realize, just like I said, who you are, where you come from, and the power of your mind and the power of just you existing. It's very something I feel like we take for granted a little bit. So I touch on loving who you are. And the next chapter I'll touch on is just trusting your intuition. I feel like, if you don't know what intuition is, it's just I would define it as the universal voice, or the universal decision maker that we all kind of have within us. You know what I mean? The things that your intuition is what guides you to do just about whatever you do that just feels right. Whatever you do that you can't necessarily explain, you just felt is right, and that's what your intuition is. And I feel like we're trained a lot within the illusion not to trust our intuition. And I feel like when you kind of go against your intuition, you're going against those godly powers, because when you're a divine being, when you're a God, you don't really necessarily have to think. You know what I mean? Like you definitely, critically think about different things and not, follow. And not following the crowd and whatnot. But you're 9 times out of 10, you're for those hard decisions, you're gonna just trust your gut. You're gonna trust what feels right, because it's natural. You know what I'm saying? It's the most natural feeling that you have. So trusting your intuition is a major pillar in unlocking the God within you, just because that's the only way. Like you were, like I said, you were put here for a reason. You know what I mean? Like we all have a purpose. We all have a task and whatnot. So you won't be able to fulfill that purpose or to reach it if you don't trust your intuition and naturally let yourself be in the rooms that you need to be in and the spaces you need to be in and just do what you need to do. And for the people that that might not have been the best explanation, want a more concrete explanation, it's just what feels right. We all know, we've all been there, or say like your mind's telling you something but your heart telling you the other thing. You know what I mean? I feel like it's your mind and your heart, it's all a part of your body, right? So like I feel like whatever just feels the best, what feels the right, the most correct, even if you might not have the most concrete evidence to support that, that's what you need to follow. That's what you need to go with, because as long as it makes sense to you, then it'll work out in the long run. I feel like we get too caught up, like I said, in the illusion, trying to make sure our decisions are provable and sound good to other people so they don't have to challenge us, when we need to just be making decisions for ourselves and trusting that intuition that guides us to put us in places where we need to be, because you never know how it can end up for you, but you never know what you can end up doing for the world or for someone else by just trusting your intuition and allowing it to put you where you need to be. So definitely touch on that. And then I'll touch on just purpose, what I'm saying? It kind of goes with the intuition. Like I said, everyone was put here, for a purpose. Everyone was put here with a purpose, with a task that they need to complete. And just being able to tap into that purpose really allows that divine being within you to come out and to be, at the center front. Because, when you're waking up every single day with a purpose, you're not, you won't waste as much time. You won't just spend hours, just scrolling, day in and day out. You'll have emotion about you. You'll have things you need to get done, and kind of going with the trusting your intuition. It allows you to make moves that people might not understand, people might not like, but you understand that, like, this is monumental. Like, I need to get this done today because this is for me. This is for Anthony, you know what I'm saying? This is for Beasty. This is for, you know what I mean? Like, just whoever you are, whatever you may be doing, it adds a different spark to life. It adds a different, little twang to it that makes it a little bit more enjoyable. It makes you more willing to go out and be more adventurous and go out and take more risk and take more chances, because you realize you're in this game for a reason. You're not just in it. You know what I mean? A lot of people like to complain about how they weren't, that they didn't ask to be born, that they weren't asked to be here. But the reality of it is, like, you were put here for a reason, and if you're not gonna fulfill that reason, you probably will get, removed, unfortunately. So I definitely feel like, purpose is a major pillar into unlocking the God within you, and it kind of goes hand in hand with trusting your intuition, loving who you are, understanding who you are and where you come from, and the power of your mind. So definitely purpose is a major topic I talk about in the ebook, and then I talk about being able to look towards nature when you need to get in touch with reality, because while we all do have the power to create our own realities and to create our own worlds that we live in within this world, this realm, I feel like it can be very easy to get out of touch with what is truly real and concrete. And some may argue that nothing is real and concrete, and I can see that. But one thing that really is nature. The sun and the trees and just things that happen naturally are things that you cannot argue with. Like, you can, but you can't. I feel like if things are getting too hectic in your life, you should always be able to reference nature and see how things are moving naturally, to see how things should be moving within you. So looking towards nature is another major topic, and just helping you get grounded and helping you realize who you are, what your purpose is, because we all are just a part of nature. We all are just animals, we just have, opposable thumbs and the ability to think, highly of ourselves and step out of who we are and look and assess and, make certain decisions. But at the end of the day, we are a part of nature. So looking towards nature definitely helps you get a better sense of reality and a sense of where you need to be, and just even just like ground. I definitely talk about like grounding yourself within nature, because too often we're on our computers, all day typing away, we're making calls, we're doing all this business, which is great. But sometimes you need to, like I said, put your feet in the sand, put your feet in the grass, put your feet, on the ground, and soak up the information that the earth is trying to tell you, so you can, be in line with who you are and where you need to be in this world. So looking towards nature is another major key in unlocking the God within you. And then I kind of finished the book just talking about just how our time is limited, man. We all are put here on borrowed time. If there's two things that are certain about life, it's change and death. Those things are gonna happen regardless of who you are, how much money you're making, and what type of motion you have going on. So the fact that our time is limited should just really means that you should never put off your happiness for anything else. You shouldn't wait until you get the car, the job, the girl, the promotion, whatever it may be, to start enjoying life and having fun and just doing what feels right to you. I feel like these things are urgent. I feel like me and my friends talk about it a lot, but it's it's this or die. It's fulfill our purpose or die. It's make, maybe like this amount of money, or make, these things happen or die. I feel like it has to be that urgent, just because you never know. Tomorrow it could all end. This could be my last podcast that you hear from me. So I'm going to try and pack as much knowledge and value into it as possible, just because our time is limited. And I feel like I want to, live my purpose out every single day as much as I can. And I want you all to do the same in using your godly abilities. So I talk about our time just being limited and how we need to take advantage of it, because there's just no guarantees in this life. But that's also what makes life fun. You have to embrace the death aspect, or it would be no purpose for it. And that's, and then I touch on the universal laws, just letting you guys know what they are. But that's basically a major overview of the book. I definitely recommend you going out and buying it. I put it in words much better than I could speaking it, even though I did kind of speak the book to write it. But please go tap in. Major shout out to the ZOS company. See, I got this sweet hoodie on, man. Just the back is this beautiful tree. Tap in with them, man. You can't yet, but you will soon enough. And I just want you guys to be great, man, and have yourself a very beastie day, and just be amazing. Peace.
All the money you make, it don't matter. All the bitches you with, they don't matter. All the chains on your neck, it don't matter. And that watch on your wrist, it don't matter at all.